Alright, so we're taking a look at question 1 on the practice ACP. Basically at the top it tells a little story about air conditioner and electric bill, yada yada yada. But down here is where our real focus is, and that is what the question's actually asking. It's asking, based on the data in the table, predict the amount a customer would pay if they run their air conditioner for 90 hours in July. So 90 hours is what we're looking for. So if you see a bunch of dots, we're going to draw a trend line. Now a trend line doesn't necessarily mean it's going through 0. It just means it's a line that best fits. So I'll just start here where the points are. Draw it the best I can. When you do the ACP test, you can use your reference sheet as a piece of paper to maybe draw your line with. They don't give you rulers, so you may have to improvise on that. Now, this is my trend line. What I've done is I identified the X and Y axis, my X axis being the average number of hours, my Y axis being the average amount of the bill, the electric bill. Now, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to figure out that if I have 90, draw a line up, where is it on the Y axis? So I draw a line over here on 120. So there, it's pretty apparent that it intersects right there. Now looking at my answer choices, it should be no question which one's correct. The answer is B. Okay? Very easy question. Question 2 on the practice ACP. Now you have to read this one thoroughly, and just your main focus, actually, when you look at it, your main focus is going to be right here in the table. Okay, they're pointing it out before you even read it. Okay, so Jerry wants to purchase a new iPhone at Fabulous Phones. He will pay a deposit plus a monthly fee. The table shows the amount Jerry will have paid for the new phone at various times over the next 24 months. Okay, based on the information table, how much does Jerry pay for the deposit and monthly fee? Okay, so we have a table. We know the X is going to be months. We have a Y. Now when we deal with this, first thing should come to mind is slope. Well, slope formula is, it's going to be on your reference sheet. They provide it for it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Easiest way to approach this is to list off the numbers. So we have our things x1, x2, y1, y2. Again, using the table, we're going to find each one of these from our table. Okay, the first X you should see is 6. Doesn't matter which numbers you use, but it's easier to use like the first 4. The second X you see is 8, so the first X you see is 6 because we read top down. Second X you see is 8. The first Y you see is 494. And the second Y you see is 592. Okay, now that you've listed them all out, you're going to plug all of this inside your formula. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is if you want, you could do it several ways. You could rewrite it or erase it and then just plug in the numbers. So let's do this. So Y2 is 592, so we read it from the bottom up. So 592 is Y2. That is this one right here. That's 592. Y1 is 494 over my x2, bottom up, 8 minus 6. Okay, please use your calculator. You don't have to do arithmetic on this test. You have a calculator there to do it for you. So 592 minus 494 is going to be 98 over 2. Okay, the first thing you're going to notice is they try to trap you. They do have 98 in this answer choice, but you obviously know that's an improper fraction. So you're going to divide, when you have an improper fraction, you divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, that looked like a Z. 98 divided by 2 is going to get me 49. Now I know this looks like a lot's gone on in this problem. Okay, and if you get this far, there's no reason you should miss it. Okay, so you're going to see a 49 here, and you're going to see a 49 here. Please make sure you read through all of them. Do not just see that 49 and put the answer. So I'm going to eliminate B and D, because we like to eliminate answers. Now, it says the deposit is $49 and the monthly fee is $200. Okay, the next one says the deposit is $200 and the monthly fee is $49. If you remember, deposit's something that happens once and it never changes. A monthly fee is something that keeps on continuous and it changes, okay? Like a variable. So, slope, okay, it's a continuous process, so it's going to be a variable, not a constant. So we know 200 is my constant, 49 is my variable, so we're going to pick C. Okay, so that's how that one works out. So again, $200 is my constant. It happens once, doesn't change. Monthly fee, $49 for so many months. That's why that 49x happens. Okay, and that's the answer. I did not need to find my constant because I would just know how it's worded and figure that out right there. So there's the answer. Answer C. Question 3, practice ACP. Ivan plans to borrow $2,000 from the bank to pay for his vacation in Hawaii. Bank of America charges 14.5% simple interest on a 3-year loan. Wells Fargo charges 12% interest on a 4-year loan. What is the difference in the amount of interest Ivan would have to pay for each of these two loans? Okay, so this is a griddable questions, usually the easiest questions, and they're pretty straightforward in what they're asking. So if you see a griddable, it's just a way of a test, just seeing if you know what you're doing, which you guys do. So if you borrow $2,000 from a bank to pay for your vacation, it's 14.5% simple interest. Now I'm using a highlighter, which you are given on the ACP. You can use the cube method or the highlighter. 3-year loan. Wells Fargo charges 12% simple interest on a 4-year loan. Okay, what is the difference in the amount interest would have paid to each of these two loans? Okay, so he has $2,000. So that would be our principal. Okay, he has $2,000. Now the principal is going to be the same for both. And we're using, looks like we're using simple interest for both of them. So we're going to use I equals P R T. And we know that from the front of the sheet. Okay, so the first one, okay, so there's two accounts. Okay, it's going to be 2,000. So this is my principal. 2,000 times, the rate is 14.5%. We're going to move the decimal 2 times to the left, make it point, or Dr. Pepper, 1, 4, 5, and 3 years. Okay, now they're asking, so that was Bank of America. Bank of America's done. Now they're asking about Wells Fargo. They have the same. Ivan's planning to borrow again $2,000 from them. He's just comparing them. Okay, he's going to have 12% simple interest. We do cube method. I'm sorry, Dr. Pepper, but you can use the cube method if you want to figure it out. 0.12, and there are 4 years on this one. Okay, so plug in your calculator, so 2,000, plug it in 2,000 times 0.145 times 3, you're going to get 870. Okay, same thing here, 2,000 times 0.12 times 4, you're going to get 960. Trying to keep away from the bubble sheet. So, again, 870, 960, okay, that's a couple steps, no big deal. You're going to find the difference. That's what they're asking for, because you can't have two answers. So you're going to take 960 minus 870. Now there are no negatives, so you do not want a negative answer, so if you need to manipulate, that's fine. 960 minus 870, and you're going to get 90. Okay, very simple problem. All you have to do is find the difference between the two, and you fill it out. You're going to make sure and fill in the 9, the 0, put your 9, 0. Okay, if you want to add dot 0, 0, that is perfectly fine. Make sure you fill in the dots. Also, if you want to add the plus sign, that's fine. I don't believe they require to put the plus sign. I think they only require it if it's a negative. So 90.00, fill it in correctly in the right place value. That's all it says. So if you get this far, you should be able to plug it in, be able to fill it in correctly, and that's it. Question 4 in the practice ACP. So this one is a algebraic rule, represents the dilation applied to quadrilateral ABCD to create quadrilateral A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. We all know that A prime, C prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. The prime is a representation of the result, what has happened to the actual shape. So they use a quadrilateral. That shape doesn't matter what they use. We're just trying to tell what happened to it. So let's just pick a random letter. I'm going to pick A, and then A prime. So the A is the beginning, and A prime is the result. So what happened to this exactly? Well, it got larger, as you can see. That's just a observation I can make at the beginning. Also, we knew dilation means multiply, so I can put an extra dot saying dilation, multiply. Okay, so knowing that information, I can also just eliminate C and D, because these are both translations. Because translations add, we use the add or subtract. So now we're left with 1/2 x, 1/2 y, 2x, 2y. In order for an object to become larger, it needs to be greater than the number 1. Okay, so 1/2 is not greater than 1. So the only answer that makes sense is B. Okay, so it's 2 times larger. Did I have to do anything with the numbers specifically? No. I just had to look at the two objects, find my original A, my new A prime, what happened to it, knowing it's greater than 1, and made it larger.